Sports culture. Sports Rap Live. Andrew Martinez. DJ
Welcome to Sports Rap Live, Sunday wrap-up, everybody. We are live from Junction Bar and Grill in the shadow of downtown Houston at 160 West Gray. Of course, we are here each and every Thursday night, 8 to 10 p.m. Ooh, of course you hear the sound of the crowd in the background. That means we got live NFL action on 42 screens right here at Junction Bar and Grill, and you guys can catch us each and every Thursday right here, 8 to 10 p.m. We got a special bonus edition for NFC, AFC Championship Sunday right here from Junction Bar and Grill. So if you're out and about right now, or if you're somewhere else watching the game, come over here right after the game and get all the feedback. And we're seeing big hits in this game right now between the San Francisco 49ers and the New York Giants, and we're going to wrap up this game later on for sure. And we're definitely going to get into the AFC Championship game, which happened earlier today. And we are broadcasting from H-Town, home of the H-Town Sneaker Summit that is right around the corner at Reliance Center. And Kadoma, who is here sucking on some crawfish, will be by later, as always, to talk about the world of sneakers. And I think you're going to give away 2 tickets for the H-Town Sneaker Summit sometime during the 9 o'clock hour. Of course, if you guys want to get in on any of the action tonight, you can do so at 713-212-5790. And please be nice to Bob, because he takes great care of us, so we sound good, and he will take care of you to get you through on the line if you call in. If you want to talk about anything around the world of sports, sounds, or sneakers, but we're going to open up the rap sheet right now with a look at today's NFL championship games and break down each game along with our Super Bowl predictions to come later on once the NFC championship game is done. Then we're going to wrap it up at the end of our show with our Sunday shout out. It's a new segment here where we want to shout out something good in the world of sports, or shout out somebody or that certain thing that really just, you know what, made your weekend. So we're going to do that. If you want to give us a shout out from around the world of sports and entertainment, you can call us up at 713-212-5790. And of course, the rap sheet is brought to you each and every week by Diamond Supply Co. and DiamondSupplyCo.com. They got us shining here tonight, of course. And if you want to hit them up, go to DiamondSupplyCo.com to see all of that spring merchandise, which we'll be rolling out right after the H-Town Sneaker Summit. And if you want to hit us up, email us at sportsraplive.com. Of course, that's rap with 2 P's. Why is that, Andrew?
Because 2 P's are better than 1.
Man, my mom always told me that. Well, let's jump right into it, Andrew. I want to know what your thoughts are right off the top. We had Baltimore versus New England earlier today for the for all the marbles in the AFC, and give us some of your thoughts. I know you were home taking notes, you were doing your thing. You've got your notes on a split screen with the NFC game, but let's talk a little bit about the early game.
Right off the bat, Billy Cundiff. What the hell, man? What
Ouch.
The hell? And that's the PG-rated version of it, because I know those people in Baltimore have to be pretty heated about what they saw at that end of the game, this field goal.
Well, in the words of John Harbaugh, he said he pushed it.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and they shouldn't have been put in that situation to start with. You know, they probably should have got a couple more yards. But, I mean, it was kind of boneheaded mistakes by both quarterbacks at the end of the game, and they got their last chance. I thought they were going to be able to convert it. I really didn't like, another takeaway from the game was I didn't like Phil Simms or, who else is doing it with them? Jim Nantz. Yeah. I thought they were terrible. They were both so conservative. Phil Simms was like, on the 3rd down, he's like, well, you should run it here.
The 3rd and 1?
Yeah, the 3rd and 1, you should run it. Give it to Ray Rice. I'm like, well, no, you should try and win the game.
Well, let's rewind. Let's go back to the first quarter, all right? Let's look at this game a little bit.
I think I was asleep during then because it was so boring.
The first quarter?
The whole first half.
Well, I mean, it was a defensive chess match, of course, to see who would establish themselves as the more dominant defense after the performance of the New England defense, who happened to show up last week.
Well, like I said last week, we didn't learn anything about the Patriots last week, because what they did was what any probably high-powered offense would have done to the Broncos, just destroyed them. we really didn't learn anything about Patriots defense or their offense. They pretty just showed us that they are who we thought they were.
Well, Baltimore on paper had the bigger challenge of trying to D up Tom Brady in that offense, as opposed to New England's defense and the Flacco offense, which really looked suspect after and was called out this week by Ed Reed after last week's close win against the Texans.
It's true. They did. They had the much bigger adjustment going from a run first offense with the Texans to going to a pass first one with the Patriots. I thought the Patriots' run game that they were able to establish early with the Ben Jarvis Green Ellis touchdown, I thought that got them off to a good start, kind of showing that they're willing to run the ball in passing downs and passing formations, and you can't really get settled into anything they're doing on offense.
Well, like I said, defensive struggle in the first quarter. Second quarter, each team actually punched it in. Ben Jarvis Green Ellis for the Patriots, and then just a little bootleg rollout by Flacco into the end zone as each team punched it into the end zone. But you know what? Neither quarterback at this point had a big play down the field.
No, they didn't. It was really surprising the Patriots they tried to get things going, but it seemed like they really couldn't. It kind of seemed like the Patriots were willing to take the underneath stuff, and the Baltimore Ravens were willing to maybe try and strike down the field more and see if they could go going with Torrey Smith. Because some of the players for the defensive backs for the New England Patriots, I'd never heard of these guys. I literally had not heard of these guys until this week. I don't know where they came from. They had Julian Edelman out there playing defensive back. I was surprised they didn't have Ocho Cinco out there playing defensive back. They probably could have used him, seriously.
More so than on offense.
They were picking on Edelman for most of the second half.
Yep.
I mean, I was just shocked at some of those guys.
And the funny thing about Edelman is he was not afraid to get up in Bolden's face. He was on Bolden a couple of times in the second half.
Yeah.
And he sure did. He had no problem getting up in a big receiver's face like that.
No, that was one of the bigger matchups, is trying to get Bolden on some of those other guys, specifically Edelman, who is maybe, obviously less experienced, but maybe a little undersized to be dealing with someone of a Bolden stature.
Yeah, well, okay, so we go into halftime. It's still anybody's game. Nobody really set the tone for the game in the first half, because
if anything, it was to Baltimore's advantage, because the game's low scoring. It's still anyone's chance. They have a puncher's chance, and the game hasn't. Brady's not getting all over the place trying to pick them apart. It's still right there within their grasp.
Well, you know what? The drinks kept flowing. The great food here with Junction Bar and Grill during halftime. The music here was incredible, and I think people were kind of anxious. Definitely more of a rowdy crowd here for the NFC Championship game here tonight.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was pretty quiet here in the lounge for the first half of the game. And then in the third quarter, the Pats come out with a heavy dose of tight ends and the law firm, of course. Once again, they established it in the first half, and they stuck to it. And that's a Belichick rule number one. We're going to win or lose with this game plan right here that we've been practicing now all week.
It's pretty much the three-headed monster of the Gronkowski, Aaron Hernandez, Wes Welker, and they mix in the Deion Branch. They mix in, maybe an Edelman or a Woodhead from time to time.
Well, they went right down the field like they were going to go down and punch it in again, but the Baltimore defense in the red zone all day long looked ageless, Gons.
No, definitely. And I was going to say the big killer was definitely with Gronkowski and that gruesome-looking injury with the ankle. And, of course, it had to come down to Bernard Pollard doing that. He has that history of doing some stuff to really top players on that team, i.e. Tom Brady. Basically when that rule started happening, he destroyed that guy's
Pollard's a knucklehead.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Pollard's
exactly.
always been a knucklehead.
So when I saw that, I'm like, great, there goes Pollard again, destroying the Pats again.
Well, he fits right in with that defense.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. He's more of a loose cannon, but yeah, he fits in with there where they're kind of like, ask questions later,
Well, as Gons mentioned, we saw Gronk go down pretty early there in the fourth quarter. But the Pats get back into the end zone. That's where, have you guys ever watched Ridiculousness with Rob Dyrdek?
Oh, yeah.
That's a rip-off show. That's a rip-off show of Tosh.0. I don't watch that show.
You know the signature scorpion move? You know what I'm talking about? Whenever he scorpions in there.
Yeah.
That's what Tom Brady did to get in the end zone. He scorpioned his way into the end zone.
That hit he took from Ray Lewis right in his back? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Kadoma said, we were here watching the game early, of course, prepping for the show, and Kadoma said, did they break his back?
Pretty much.
Is his back broken?
Pretty much they did.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, man. But, well, hey, needless to say, on 4th and 1, they punch it in. Tom Brady was not coming off of the field. That was for damn sure. To take the lead 23-20 on 4th down. And you know what? Hey, that lead would stand as the Patriots fight off Flacco and the boys long enough for the Ravens to miss a field goal.
That's got to suck.
Oh.
Hold on, we need to get to the bigger play here. Why did they not review the Lee Evans pass?
Yeah, they should have.
That clearly should have been reviewed. He had the ball in his hands. I'm not sure he had it there for a second, you know, he had possession, then someone came and swatted it from his hands. I've seen other plays where guys have had the ball turn and someone's kind of swatted it from them and they've called it a touchdown. They should have called it a touchdown and then reviewed it, not called it not a touchdown and not even review it at all.
Right.
That was a terrible decision by the refs.
That's a great point. That's a great point. It's a game changer right there. Of course, you know, there's always those game-changing moments.
Yeah,
that changed it right there.
blatantly
That
bad.
was the game.
That was bad officiating all the way around. I just don't understand that play, because that's what led up to the missed field goal. If they had called that a touchdown, that's probably they win the game.
Well, you were watching the broadcast in the comforts of your own home.
Yeah.
What was the commentary? Why didn't they challenge that?
Everyone was shocked about why they didn't call the time, why they didn't challenge it. But then it was on to the next play because they were in a hurry up mode to try and, you know. And the other thing I want to point out is bad clock management at the end of that game. You look right here, still one timeout left for the Ravens. Why didn't they call a timeout to try and figure out what they were doing with that last kick? I didn't understand that at all. And also props to Belichick for not calling a timeout to ice that kicker. So many times you see that coach say, no, we're going to get that timeout and try and mess with the kicker, and then he makes it, or he times it up and kind of angles it before he can really do it again. So I thought that was props to Belichick for not doing that.
Darth Belichick and Tom Skywalker once again onto the promised land. They punched their ticket for Super Bowl.
They got so lucky, though.
Oh, yeah,
it was so lucky.
Well, you know, I think Baltimore, if they push this team to overtime, has a little more confidence to pull out a victory. You know, they basically, their kicker screwed them because they would have had a good chance in overtime.
And the first time, whenever they went for it, I think it was on the 50-yard line or whatever, it was going to be a 51-yard field goal, and they went for it anyway. Cundiff is 1 for 5 on 50-plus yard field goals this season, so that's why they didn't go for it.
And who did Cundiff used to kick for?
The Cowboys.
Oh, that's
Once a
right.
Cowboy, always a Cowboy.
That's right. That's right. All right. Speaking of the Cowboys, #1 Cowboy fan in Houston, Soccer Talker Luis. Happy birthday, sir. He's out here tonight sucking on some crawfish heads. You know how we do. And we are out here at Junction Bar and Grill for a Sunday night special, the Sunday wrap-up here at Sports Rap Live. Yes, thank you very much. Appreciate that. We got a lounge full of beautiful people. Rat Pack's starting to fall in right now, getting their grub on. So, guys, why don't you take them out with a little musical interlude, get people ready. We're still waiting for this game to end because I guarantee you everybody's got their eyes and ears glued on this game. But we will jump knee-deep into the NFC Championship. We're going to look ahead to the Super Bowl predictions. We're going to give you our Sunday shout-outs, that and so much more right here on Sports Rap Live.